Hi my fellow artists and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be comparing different brands of coloring pencils by using 3 different blending techniques. For the first brand, I am using Prismacolor Premier coloring pencils. These are essentially wax-based coloring pencils and they come in a variety of different shades and tones. The colors I opted for in today's demonstration are Power, Caribbean, and True Blue. The second brand I chose is Staedler and I am using their basic beginner coloring pencil kit today. Unfortunately, these pencils do not have individual names or numbers, but I just picked out the 3 shades of blue in the kit. Just as a comparison, 36 Prismacolors retail for about $49 while the Staedler are about $14 US. So the first blending technique is burnishing. This is done by essentially layering the pigment onto the paper and using very firm pressure to blend the colors out. I personally use this technique quite a lot and find the Prismacolors blend easily and effortlessly into one another. But because these are wax-based pencils, the lead itself did break a lot and left quite a lot of excess residue on my paper. To compare this, I repeated the exact same process with my Staedler pencils and right off the bat it was so much harder to blend the colors into one another. Not only did it require much more pressure, but the colors still did not blend as smoothly as Prismacolors did. But I will say that the lead of these pencils are much stronger and did not break at all. It also left a lot less residue on my paper. The second blending technique is layering, and this is quite self-explanatory. You build up layers of colors onto one another with medium pressure and build the color intensity as you go. For the comparison, there isn't really much of a difference. I feel both the brands took the same amount of time and effort to blend. They both also left a pretty similar texture on the paper. Just as a side note, I'm not comparing the color payout of the brands because I couldn't find the exact same shade of blue, but rather the blending properties of the pencils. Moving on to the last technique, solvents. This is done by roughly laying the pigment on the paper and then blending it out with a solvent. Today I'm using an oil-based one. As for the Prismacolors, they blended really quickly and really easily. In fact, amongst all 3 of them, I think this technique is the fastest and the smoothest in terms of texture. Here I'm just pouring my oil into the container and then I'm going to be using a brush. You could also use a cotton pad to actually blend the colors out. Hopefully you can see that the color changes as I apply the oil to the paper. The gradient effect which I was initially going for disappears and colors smudge together to create this solid block of blue. And of course, I repeated the exact same steps with the Staedler and will say that the process was more or less the same. It did take the same amount of time and effort. And I did find that again the colors kind of blended together and changed the saturation of the shade of blue. The only major difference was that the Staedler left behind a texture on the paper and didn't transition as smoothly as the Prismacolors did. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm talking about on camera. Those little dots that the actual pigment created once oil was mixed into it did not happen with Prismacolors. All in all, I think both the brands did a really good job in actually blending the colors out. The only difference between the Staedler and the Prismacolors was that the former took a little bit more time and effort to actually blend the colors out and created a little bit of texture on the paper. That's it for today's video. Please let me know in the comments below if you have any questions I can help with, and as always, I've left a few things for you to check out on screen. Until next time, happy drawings!